Dude, what if we got like a K-pop star to come on our podcast?
Man, that would be crazy.
Yeah, right. Like if we could actually get somebody who sings and performs in Korean to come and talk to us, that would blow my mind.
Hi, we are.
Noona Talk.
I'm Zara, and I cannot wait for you all to see who we have on the show today.
And I'm Sophia, and whatever Zara said, I agree because this is going to be the first time that we're doing something like this. Woo!
Very excited. But before we get into all of that, we are Noona Talk, a podcast where we talk about K-pop, K-drama, K-culture, especially if you're a Desi stan. But even if you're not, we're very welcome and inclusive for everyone. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube, where we have weekly episodes every Wednesday, along with many MV reactions. And you can also follow us on Instagram at Noona Talk. Exactly like it sounds. If you don't like video and only want the audio version, we are on all podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon.
Yes, we're everywhere, and today we are meeting somebody who is very special because it's a K-pop star.
Yes, I think all of us who have watched K-pop for a while, deep in our heart, we have practiced MVs in our rooms. We have imagined doing fan signs. Where we have thought about what our stage name would be. My stage name, unfortunately, did get stolen by BTS. Very sad about that. There'll be a story time about that eventually, maybe. Let's
It
see.
will.
But is
But
it time for us to?
get into it, yeah.
And finally, joining us on Nuna Talk this week is Livyz, an independent K-pop artist. Say hi.
Hi everyone, it's Livyz. Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Okay, just to kick us off, tell us a little bit about yourself and your music and your journey.
As you mentioned before, yes, I'm an independent K-pop artist. I got into K-pop in 2009. I'm a second gen girl. It's been a really long time, and I've been performing K-pop since maybe like 2011. I was part of a lot of cover dance groups and even a cover dance and vocal group. And I just really felt so passionate about performing and about K-pop, and I decided to take it to the next level by doing some training in Korea. And after that training and all the, knowledge and wisdom that I got, I was like, you know what, I really want to keep doing this, but I'm going to go independent. I think that it's just best that I have the creative control and get to express myself and all that stuff. So yeah, that's me.
That's really cool because I've been seeing your Instagram and it's you do everything. You do the dancing, you do singing, you do some video production as well. I've seen like you made short films and it
Yeah.
was so interesting. So was this something you did even before you got into K-pop, or was K-pop what kind of made you get into different forms of art?
I would say that it started before I got into K-pop. Like, I would say my earliest theater production, I think I was like 2 years old. I was like a
Oh,
baby
wow.
in the nativity play at my church. And I just kept doing like dancing and singing and stuff like that, like as a child. But as soon as I got into K-pop, it was like, oh my gosh, it like clicked. I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, because in K-pop, you know how like idols can do everything. They're allowed to dance, sing, act, they can do whatever.
But the
Like,
decision to become like a trainee and you moved to Korea as well and joined the company there as well. Like these were major like choices and money moves to make. What
Yeah.
motivated you to do that?
So I actually was working at a Korean business. It was an academy kind of like the one that I ended up attending, but it was in Canada. And I was really close with the owners and stuff like that. So it wasn't my job, but like they would have me be staff for auditions. So I was staff for like a YG audition and like a something else audition. And I was like,
oh.
I don't want to be staff. I was like, why am I on the staff side? I'm on the wrong side of the table right now? So I really was kind of just like, you know what? I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to move back home because that was when I was living in Toronto. I moved back to Vancouver and I was like, I'm going to save up money and then I'm going to go to Korea. And then the pandemic happened. The pandemic happened.
Oh.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, I did, or just before the pandemic, actually, I did an audition for a company that said they were looking for global talent. So I was really excited, really hyped up for it. And I didn't get it. And I felt pretty defeated. So I was like, I'm not even going to do K pop. I'm just going to, like, be a performer. I'll do something else somewhere else. But in the end, because of the pandemic, like staying in and like working on music and all that stuff, I was like, okay, but I feel like I haven't tried every option. I haven't actually been to Korea before. If I go to Korea, find out what they think, what they're gonna, like say, like I want their honest opinion, like tell me if you think I'm crazy for doing this, please just tell me. Um, and it ended up being that I went there and, things turned out a lot better than I thought. I was very negative about the whole thing. I was like, I don't think that anything is going to happen or that they're going to be like, yeah, you're so cut out for this.
So when you went to Korea, like tell us, like, everyone who's ever been into K-pop, you see like so much of Seoul in like shows and
Right.
like in behind the scenes. So like stepping into Seoul, like stepping off Incheon Airport for the first time, like describe that first maybe week for you. What was that like?
This is funny because since it was during the pandemic, my first 2 weeks in Korea were in quarantine. I was in
Quarantine. Oh
quarantine, but
no.
at a super nice hotel. I don't know how they decided. They had like a bunch of hotels all over Korea, like allotted for people who are quarantining. But both times that I went, I stayed at the Grand Hyatt in
Oh,
Incheon.
wow.
And I was like, why am I here? I was like, what's going on? Such a fancy place, but it was costly for sure. So it sucks that you didn't get to choose. But like in the first like time like I landed, I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy. I just want to make sure that I get through and like they're not gonna have any problems with my visa. So then that happened. But then they take you on a bus straight to the hotel. You wait, you sign in, and then you're locked in your room for like 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, I was like, I don't know where I am. I have no idea what's
Yeah.
going on. Like I'm just in the void. But when we got out of quarantine, they shuttled us over to a train station where we were gonna meet our taxi driver. And I was like looking out the windows as we were going, and I was like, this place looks so much like Vancouver. So I really didn't feel it until I stepped out of the van and everybody was Korean. I was like, oh, this is Korea. I was like, whoa, like it was just really kind of surreal where I was like, if I wanted to speak to someone right now, I'd have to speak Korean. Like that's my like only option. And I was like, whoa, wow. Like it really hit me then.
So you were a trainee for how long were you a trainee for, and what would be some of the positive or negative experiences that you had during your trainee time?
So I was a trainee for a combined total of 6 months because I went 2 times on a 3-month visa. The first time I went, I did the idol program because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. This is my last stab at the idol thing. I'm gonna give it a go. But speaking of negative experiences, doing the idol program, it was tough, but not for the reasons I thought that it would be tough. I really enjoyed the training, like the singing and everything, and getting the feedback from the teachers, and they were really, really like tough on us, but in the best way. And I guess it's just because I'm used to like taking lessons and classes already. So like if a teacher is like coming down on me, I'm like, yeah, this is just what I need to improve. But had a difficult time with some of the other trainees who were foreign as well. I thought that I would have a
Okay.
hard time with the Korean trainees. I was like, what if we can't communicate? What if they're like, I don't know what to do? And at first they were a little bit like nervous because they're like, oh my gosh, foreigner, ah. But in the end, like the teachers around were just like, she speaks Korean, just talk to her, you guys. You're all being weird. And we all ended up bonding a lot. But with the foreign trainees that I was with, I did have some issues as far as like, kind of competitiveness and like
Mm.
jealousy. And I think that that's something that happens like regardless of whether you're training at an academy or a company. Like you look at the people around you and you're just like, this person could be in the way of me reaching my dream because maybe this person looks similar to me or they have similar traits to me or they're better than me. Like all these little things kind of get in your head. I personally am not like that competitive of a person. So I'm just like, I'm focused on me and myself, but other trainees are different. So that was definitely something that made me reconsider um, just being an idol because I realized I was like, in the group dynamic, this sense of competition like never stops. It
True.
never
Mm.
ends. Like you have a member who's the most popular member and you're just like, why am I in the sidelines? Or that member's getting brand deals, the other members are not. So I was just like, can I handle the possibility that maybe that I might be in a team or a group? On the other side, on my second trip, I went into the singer songwriter program, and my teacher was super enthusiastic about it. She was just like, I really wanted to just let you try the idol thing because, like you said, you were like, I want to try it, I want to give it a go, but being a singer songwriter suits you so much. So I was like, okay, let's go. So we did a lot of stuff, just working on like performance coaching as a soloist and vocal styling and all this dynamics and stuff. And I feel like at that moment when I was doing the singer songwriter stuff, I truly felt like, oh, I can be an artist. Like, I'm capable of this and I can actually do it. So it was really, really nice. And the second time around, the people that I was there with were so nice. The other foreign trainees were so welcoming. The Korean trainees are so sweet too. I made a lot of friends. So I think that all the memories and the kind of like activities that I got to do that were messed up a bit in the first time around were like amended by the time I went back for the second one.
So interesting. I don't think anybody on the outside would even think of something as simple as people being competitive. Like, that's so
Right,
basic.
right.
But like, so tell me, when so you got into these programs, who were hosting these, and how did you find out about this to begin with? Like,
So
someone
for
who's
Yeah,
me,
because
getting
we have an
into it.
audience who's very interested in moving to Korea and like either pursuing dance or singing or maybe both. So I think they'd be really interested in it as well.
So for me, what happened was I was initially looking at the YGX Academy when I wanted to go to Korea, but I found out that that academy only is a gateway into YG Entertainment or the Black Label. Like, you don't get to audition for other labels. So I was like, maybe not. And also, it is so expensive. It is so
Oh,
expensive.
really? If
Yeah,
if it's okay, can you like tell us what the cost might be approximately?
I think for YGX, it was like something like $3,000 a month or
Oh, wow.
$3,000 for like
Oh,
a month and a half. And this is not including any of your accommodation, your food, your not, this is just the training.
Oh.
So I was like, wow, wow, I don't think I can go to YGX. I was like, I don't think so. But I had friends that like we were networking and stuff like that just because we're both like, idol hopefuls and stuff. And one girl, she was in Korea at the moment and she was like, oh, I'm just going to a local academy. So in Korea, there's like academies everywhere. Like, they're literally everywhere. Idol training is a huge business in Korea. It's very lucrative for them because so many people want to do it, but not everybody's going to make it. So, it's a big business. But I chose to go to an academy called Dream Vocal just because that's where my friend was going. I was like, girl, I'll go wherever you're going. I don't know. Like, this one's more affordable. This one has a really good curriculum. But yeah, I looked them up online and all the information's in Korean. So for people who want to go to like a truly just like kind of Koreans only. I say only because there will always be foreigners, but like, where you're expected to speak Korean, expected to be treated the regular trainee way. Yeah, knowing Korean is a huge thing, but there are also academies like I think Akopia is one of them. There's K-pop Star Academy, something like that are like
K-pop Star
targeted.
has been advertising everewhere. Like, I
Yeah,
have
I got
seen
ads
on
for them too.
YouTube, on Instagram, they're everywhere.
Right. I was just like, what is this? Like, guys, I already went. Like, I don't need this. Like, I was so confused. But yeah, no, there's ones like that where they're geared towards foreigners. So you're gonna have so many staff who speak English. You're gonna have people who are able to help you with booking your flight. They might even offer accommodation. But the academy that I went to, because it is just, an academy somewhere in Seoul, like it's not dedicated for foreigners, you pay for everything else yourself, and that includes your lessons. So yeah, everybody should do a little bit of research and find out what's the best option for them based on their Korean level, because they
Oh.
don't play about you speaking Korean. Like, our teacher, the one teacher who spoke English, she would literally be like, I'm not talking to you guys in English. You want to debut in Korea? Speak Korean. And I was just like, I'm okay. Like, I speak pretty good Korean, but for some of the other foreign trainees, like, they would like whisper in English, like out of fear of being caught. And it was just really
Oh,
funny.
so you are from Vancouver, you've lived in Korea, now you're in England. What is next for Livyz?
That's so funny. I have no idea at any given time because I would say that every single time I moved to a different place, I was like, I had no idea I was going to be here. So That's kind of interesting. But right now I'm finding a really good network creatively here in London. So I'm really, really happy to be here and stay here for a while. It's very likely that for business reasons I might bounce back and forth between London and Korea.
Tell us what was like a day in the life of a trainee, like if just when you were doing your
Ooh.
training, what was that day like?
Okay, so the thing with these academies is because it's an academy, you are responsible for yourself. And I mean, I think for other trainees too, like you have your classes, but then in your free time, it's up to you to practice and rehearse. So for me, I was one of those people who like to stay at the academy till it closed. So I would go later in the day. So I would be like, yeah, I'm chilling, I'm sleeping in the morning. Like I sleep until like 10, then I get ready and I would head to the academy, get there by like 11 or 12, and then I would spend the whole day there. Usually, if I had like a vocal lesson, I would take my vocal lesson, but I would come a bit earlier so that I could like practice right before and like warm up and stuff. Cause my teacher was just like, we don't have time for warm ups. Let's go. Let's sing the song, blah, blah, blah. I was like, ah. So yeah, I would practice first, then I would do my lesson. And then if we were working on a team project, then we would have team rehearsals almost every single day. And that was just that was a lot. That was a lot for sure. Cause in the idol program at least, it's like you have to, when you do the performance class, you have to perform singing and dancing at the same time. So you're rehearsing with the team, you have to get your formations together, you have to know the lyrics, you have to make sure the notes are right, like all of this stuff. So it was necessary for us to practice together every day. But if we weren't working on a team project, like when I was in the singer songwriter program, I could choose to just go practice like piano, let's say, because I did take piano lessons the second time around, or I would go and dance just by myself in the studio, practice my audition stuff. And there would also be mock auditions once a month. The mock auditions are basically a system where it's like you do a fake audition and you get feedback from the teachers, but then they rank you, like the whole academy, they rank you. So it's like out
Oh,
of
wow.
100 and something students, like you get your rank. The highest rank I ever got was I think 20th, but
Wow.
there were like friends of mine who like they ranked like first place, and I was just like, geez, like that's crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So that also makes the competitive environment a lot more. Yeah, but so we would do mock auditions sometimes. We would have a weekly kind of like lectures, I guess. Like there would be different topics. Like one of them was like how to look good on camera for like a camera test when you do an audition. One of them was just like what this company is looking for today and how to kind of bring that out of yourself. Like they would really make you like meld into what the company wants for like that week or like that month. And it was a lot. But yeah, yeah, I think that like on a regular day it would be like, let's say like 3 4 hours vocal practice, maybe a class, either vocal class or piano class. I took dance classes separately, like I would go to 1 million and take classes there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love 1
So
million, the
cool.
environment
Same.
vocal. Yeah, 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 but I would either do that and then I would like do dance practice or vocal practice again. But yeah, usually I think because of the pandemic they closed really early, like compared to like when they would usually close, but like I would stay till like 10 p.m. and then I would go home.
So I know you've got some music coming out. Can you tell
Yeah.
us more about that?
Okay, I'm so excited about this. Oh my gosh, I actually just got the final mix yesterday. We
Oh,
did our last
wow.
studio session and I was like listening to it. I'm so excited about it. But I actually released a single in 2021 because I was like, you know what? Let me give this artist thing a try. Like let me do it. And it came out kind of bad. Being very honest, it came out kind of bad. And I was like, darn, like, that really sucks. But last year, when I moved to England, I was just like, let me try some performances, let me try some gigs. So I was
Mm.
doing like open mics and jam sessions, and then I got the opportunity to perform. And I reached out to a guitarist who was also an amazing producer, and he was like, I really, really like this song. And then he one day just like sent me like his own like draft version of it, and I was like, what? Like, what are you remaking this? And I was just like, oh my gosh, like let's redo it, like let's do the whole thing over. So that happened really spontaneously in September, and now we have like the remade version of the song. It's completely revamped, has a new title, it's called Venus. And I'd say it's a bit of a love letter to like how I used to feel about entering the K-pop industry. Like when I was young, I was like, I will do anything for y'all to choose me. Like, please just pick me, choose me. Like I truly was so desperate for that. But you know, it's kind of a way of like kissing that goodbye and stepping forward as like my independent self who's gonna like pave my own way, you know?
Where can our audience hear it?
On all streaming platforms. It will be available everywhere. So yeah, anywhere you want to listen, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, everything. So wait, it'll be out by the time you see this for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm very excited.
We're excited for you too. That's such a big
Yeah,
Thanks.
and it
step,
sounds
after
beautiful.
Thank you.
listening to your entire story. I think this feels like such a nice like a ending part to it. Like you're finally getting to release your own music. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had one more question. Like you have trained in, like you've done dance classes and everything in Canada as well, and then you moved to Korea to train there. Are you also taking classes in London as well, or are
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking dance classes, but I kind of had to stop for a bit. I actually
Hmm.
sprained my ankle last year,
Oh
so
no.
I couldn't dance for months. And I started dancing again, maybe just like last fall. But my ankle's like acting up again, which really sucks. So I'm trying to take it easy, take it slow. But yeah, I'm doing that, and I'm currently on the hunt for a vocal teacher who is either Korean or sings in Korean. Like I don't know who I'm gonna find, but yeah, I did some trial lessons with some other teachers, but I haven't found the right fit yet. But it's super important to keep training all of your skills. Like, no matter how much training you've received, like, it has to be a constant thing. So,
So, like, what is is there a difference in approach, the way teachers in maybe Canada do it versus teachers in Korea or teachers in London? Like, is it different or is it more or less similar?
I would say it's different. In Canada, dance classes felt really competitive. Like it really felt like it was a competition. I spent some of the time that I was studying in Toronto, like studying performing arts. And so I did do dance classes on like the industry level, which means everybody in the room is like trying to book a job. Like everybody's like, you know, I need to impress this choreographer so they'll pick me for jobs and stuff. And I just wanted to learn, but you can really feel the competitive energy. So that was super like, ugh. But I found that in Korea and in London, that class is just, it's just a vibe. Everybody's just there to dance. Everybody wants to have fun, and that just makes it so much easier to enjoy. But as far as like vocal teaching, I would say that in Korea they really take this approach of like understanding your voice and making you sing well for your voice. Whereas in Canada, it's like it was very much like, this is the foundation, this is what you have to do, and whatever sound it makes is whatever sound it makes. Like that's not our problem. But in Korea they were very adamant about like wanting to bring out the uniqueness of my voice and like my own vocal color, which really helps with confidence too. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, before we thank you for
Awesome.
joining us, can you tell our audience where they can find you, how they can follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at Livyz, Liyvz. I'm also on TikTok at official.livyz, and Twitter is also official.livyz. I have a YouTube channel. If you search Livyz, Liyvz, on YouTube, you can definitely find some vlogs and stuff like that. And you'll definitely want to be subscribed because some making of behind the scenes stuff is going to come out. But yeah, I'm super happy to have been here. Thank you so much for having me. You were both lovely. Thank
That is
you.
so
Of course, very
exciting.
excited for your song. So if you haven't already, go listen to Venus. What are you waiting for? And subscribe and follow Liv. Thank you so much for joining us today at Noona Talk.
Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Liz.
Bye.